Right now, you're sitting at your desk, spending 30 hours a week manually sourcing candidates on LinkedIn, scheduling screening calls, tracking compliance document, and answering the exact same policy question from 50 different employees. You think you're doing human resources. You are operating as a biological router. You are taking digital information from one system, processing it in your brain, and manually pasting it into another system. But over the last 60 days, a seismic shift has occurred in the global software ecosystem. A shift that fundamentally renders your administrative grind obsolete. An open source project called OpenClaw just crossed 250,000 stars on GitHub. It beats React's 10-year growth record in less than 2 months. It is the fastest growing open source project in human history. OpenClaw is not a chatbot, it is not ChatGPT. It is a self-hosted autonomous AI agent that lives on your local machine. It connects directly to your WhatsApp, your Telegram, your email, and your browser. It does not wait for you to ask it a question. It wakes up on schedule, reads your proprietary data, and actually execute tasks while you sleep. Today, we are completely redefining the architecture of recruitment and HR administration. I'm going to show you exactly how to deploy OpenClaw locally on the new Apple M5 architecture. I will give you the exact structural blueprint to automate your entire recruitment funnel, eradicate your mundane administrative tasks, and secure your proprietary data against the massive vulnerabilities that have terrified global cybersecurity experts. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop acting like an administrator and start operating as an enterprise orchestrator. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to human resources and talent acquisition is aggressively different from the academic theory you were taught, you must understand my underlying architecture. I do not look at HR as an emotional people function. I look at it as an industrial supply chain of human capability. My foundation is deeply rooted in systems architecture. I hold a bachelor's in engineering, specifically computer science. I paired that highly algorithmic mindset with a master's in human resource from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TISS, in Mumbai, and eventually I earned my PhD in HR. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010 and having consulted for over 20 apex corporate entities across the Middle East, I have learned exactly how institutional algorithms calculate value and operational efficiency. My background in computer science means I understand exactly how the AI code works, and my PhD in HR means I know exactly how to deploy that code to extract maximum leverage from the labor market. As an HR professional stepping into the realities of 2026, you must adopt this exact hybrid mindset. You must become a technical operator. Let us break down the exact mechanics of the OpenClaw and how we are going to use it to industrialize your recruitment output. Phase 1, the OpenClaw paradigm. The chatbots versus autonomous agency. You must first understand the structural difference between a traditional large language model and an autonomous agent like OpenClaw. Traditional AI, like the web interface for the ChatGPT or Claude, is entirely passive. It is stateless. Every conversation starts from zero. It lives in an isolated browser tab. You ask it a question, it generates text, and the interaction dies. It has no memory, and crucially, it has no hands. OpenClaw completely shatters this limitation. OpenClaw operates as a local gateway layer. It connects an external region like Anthropic Claude or OpenAI models directly to the execution layer of your actual computer. It has persistent identity. It uses core configurations file like soul.md to maintain its specific persona, operational boundaries, and behavioral rules. It has shared memory. It logs every conversation across multiple platforms into persistent JSONL files, utilizing context compaction, so it never forgets a candidate's history on an executive's preference. It is proactive. It utilizes cron jobs and heartbeats protocol to wake itself up. It does not need you to click run. When you deploy an OpenClaw, you are not installing a tool, you are hiring a digital subordinate that works 24/7 without a salary. Phase 2, the hardware architecture. Why we deploy on Apple M5? Now we must discuss the infrastructure. Why are we deploying this on Apple M5 architecture? Because OpenClaw is an agent with broad permission to execute scripts, read file, and navigate web browsers, deploying it on a public cloud server exposes you to a catastrophic cybersecurity risk. Gartner and Cisco has explicitly warned that exposing an OpenClaw gateway port to the public internet is a security nightmare. If you are handling sensitive recruitment data, internal salary bands, and proprietary candidate list, you cannot risk a cloud breach. You must run this locally. The new Apple M5 chip is the ultimate hardware foundation for this protocol. An M5 Mac Mini or a Mac Studio sitting securely in your office provides massive decentralized compute power. The M5's unified memory architecture and the advanced neural engine allows you to run the OpenClaw gateway seamlessly. And if necessary, run localized open weight models completely offline to ensure zero data leakage to third-party APIs. By dedicating an M5 machine exclusively to your OpenClaw instance, you create an unbreachable high-velocity brain for your HR operation. You isolate the agent from your primary workstation while giving it the raw computational horsepower required to execute thousands of background tasks simultaneously. Phase 3. Automating the recruitment funnel. Let us map out the exact workflow of an OpenClaw recruitment running on your M5 hardware. This is how you can completely eliminate the manual friction of talent acquisition and operate with efficiencies of platform like TalentBridge. 6 a.m. The proactive sourcing. Sweep. While you are still asleep, OpenClaw wakes up via its cron schedule. It accesses its specialized skill directory. It opens a headless browser and scans LinkedIn, specialized tech forums, and your internal applicant tracking system for candidate matching the open, let's say, senior DevOps engineer requisite. 6:30 a.m. The contextual outreach. Because OpenClaw has persistent memory, it cross-references these new profiles against candidate you interviewed 2 years ago. It identifies a highly qualified passive candidate. It autonomously draft a highly personalized message referencing their specific GitHub commits and past interaction and send it directly via WhatsApp or Telegram integration. 8 a.m. The triage and scheduling. When the candidate replies on WhatsApp expressing interest, OpenClaw instantly processes the natural language. It checks your synchronized Apple Calendar, identifies an open slot, proposes the time to the candidate, and sends the calendar invite. When you sit down at your desk, you do not need to email. You simply look at your calendar, which is now populated with 3 high-value interviews that were sourced, vetted, and scheduled entirely by your local M5 agent. You have transitioned from being a manual recruiter to an executive orchestrator of a digital talent pipeline. Phase 4. Eradicating the HR floor mundane admin. Recruitment is only half the battle. The other half is the crushing weight of a daily HR administration, what I call the floor of human resources. In a traditional setup, when an employee wants to know the exact calculation for their end of service gratuity under UAE labor law, they message you on Slack. You stop what you're doing, look at the policy, calculate the math, and reply. You do this 20 times a week. With OpenClaw, you completely automate this friction using agents channel integration. You configure OpenClaw to sit silently inside your corporate Slack or Microsoft Teams environment. You feed its local workspace the entirety of your corporate policy, the UAE labor law, your onboarding manuals, and your compliance checklist. When an employee is asked how many days of maternity leave am I entitled to and what is the exact documentation required, OpenClaw intercepts the message. It references its local database, processes the exact policy context, and replies instantly to the employee with total accuracy. If an employee needs an employment certificate generated for a bank loan, OpenClaw can trigger a local script, pull the employee data from HRIS via APIs, generate the PDF, and securely email it to them, all within 40 seconds, with zero human intervention. You're no longer the bottleneck for the basic corporate knowledge. You have cleared the flow, allowing you to focus your biological cognitive bandwidth exclusively on high-stakes employee relations, organization development, and strategic. Phase 5. The security imperative, guarding the vault, must issue a severe, uncompromising warning. Of this magnitude comes with an inherent existential risk. You are giving an autonomous agent access to read your files, send emails on your behalf, and interact with the public web. If you misconfigure OpenClaw, or if you download an unvetted malicious skill from a third-party marketplace, you can compromise your entire corporate network. As a human capital architect, you must operate with the discipline of a cybersecurity officer. 1. Never expose the gateway. As we discussed, run OpenClaw locally on your Apple M5. Do not expose the internal ports to open internet. Use secure tunnels or strictly authenticated zero trust network access like Cloudflare access if remote administration is required. 2. Container isolation. Do not run the agent with root privileges. Use Docker or to strictly sandbox the OpenClaw environment. Ensure it only has read-write access to the specific directories required for its HR function. 3. The soul.md guardrails. You must hardcode strict behavioral boundaries into the agent's soul.md file. You must explicitly instruct the agent under no circumstances are you authorized to modify payroll data, send mass termination emails, or execute any destructive file system commands without explicit secondary human authorization. You must maintain the human in the loop for critical, irreversible decisions. OpenClaw is your execution engine, but you are the definite architect of its constraint. Look closely at the board. The era of manual HR administrator is permanently closed. The era of the reactive recruiter is over. The software has molted. The agents are awake. The professionals who survive the next 24 months will not be the ones who type fastest or memorize the most policies. The survivors will be the orchestrator, the ones who deploy autonomous systems like OpenClaw on high-performance local hardware to industrialize their output, while dedicating their own human intellect exclusively to the complex political high-leverage problem that the algorithm cannot comprehend. You have the blueprint. You have the technology. Stop pushing paper and start building your leverage. If you are ready to completely rewire your systematic approach to the modern labor market and master the intersection of advanced AI workflows and the human capital strategy, the ultimate manual is waiting for you. For the record, my brand new book, The 2026 Career Architect, is officially live and available for download right now exclusively on namaste.ai. This book is a culmination of years of computer science and HR frameworks applied directly to the global human capital ecosystem. It contains the exact prompt matrices, the AI orchestration blueprint, and the advanced positioning you need to bypass the administrative trap and dominate your trajectory. Stop managing the floor, start architecturing the ceiling, process the blip, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.